When it comes to adjusting tensions on the BERNINA L 850 serger, start by putting all the tensions at 4. If you're using the same weight of thread in the serger, plus you're using good quality thread, honestly, these are probably going to be all left at the default setting. If you're seeing any stitches on your testing fabric that are very, very loopy, let me teach you the secret. So a lot of times people start adjusting their tensions, and all the problem is that the thread is actually not in the tension discs. This happens on sewing machines too. If you've ever flipped your fabric over and seen lots of loops on the back, the problem is that the thread is not in the discs. So all you have to do is sit right in front of your serger and look inside. And if you can see that color of thread, it means it's not deep enough into those tension discs. So lift up your presser foot. You could even take the thread and kind of floss it back and forth, and then lower the presser foot, and that thread should disappear into those grooves. So before you start changing tensions or thinking that everything is just not, and blaming tensions for everything, make sure that you've actually threaded it as you're supposed to. I sometimes hold my threads and kind of floss them back and forth as I'm threading through those tension discs. If I'm changing thread, it really makes a difference. So as I sometimes say, thread the serger with purpose. Now, if you've already gone ahead and looked inside, you don't see any thread showing there, but some of your stitches are a little bit loose, or pulled to one side. So your upper looper and lower looper tensions, they meet along the edge. So it's kind of like a scale. If you've got one that feels like it's pulling a little bit more, you can do one of two things. You can loosen it, which would be to a smaller number, or you could tighten the opposite one and kind of help balance it out. So just like a scale, you can remove from one side or you can add to the other. And so I'm kind of finding the balance to the balance. Sometimes I'll do a little of both, reduce from one and add from the other. Now, if you're using decorative threads, that's where you're probably going to adjust your tension the most. So anything that's heavy, heavy thread, give it a little breathing room by reducing the tension to 3 or 2, seeing how it looks first on your fabric and then adjusting from there. Again, good quality thread should make a difference on all of this. It should actually be very easy to, there's really not a lot of ways to thread this serger wrong because of that wonderful air jet threaded system. But when things aren't right, or if you don't have the right needles in, things can kind of be wrong. Now, flip your fabric over. Remember, you're looking for that line of thread that pretty much indicates your seam. So when you open it up, that's nice and secure. So if you ever see where that is not all the way like as tight as it should be, go ahead and take your left needle or the outside needle of tension and go up a number just to give it a little bit and see if you can straighten that out. If you're opening this up and you're seeing lots of stitches kind of opening and showing through, give that just a little bit of nudge. But really, all in all, unless you're working with decorative threads, just put those tension numbers all to 4 and you should be good to go. Don't blame tension for things that are an operator error issue. And sometimes what I'll do is just rethread the serger from scratch. A lot of problems will solve themselves. And if you don't know which way you're supposed to turn those dials, if you turn it a whole number and it gets worse, you're going to go the opposite way. Go to the smaller number and see if that gets better. So it's really okay to experiment, see if it actually is changing, and don't forget to double check that your threads are seated deep in those tension discs.